Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing net neutrality. Any links referenced today can be found below, and while you check them out, leave a like or a comment and I'll try to reply to the best of my ability. So what is net neutrality? Net neutrality is a regulation that was adopted in December of 2010. The regulation prevents internet service providers from slowing down access to content or from simply blocking it. Net neutrality rules and regulations would then be strengthened by the Obama administration. President Obama asked the FCC to implement 4 rules: no blocking access to legal websites, no throttling of internet speed based on the type of service or internet provider's preferences, increased transparency between internet service providers and consumers, and no paid prioritization. The FCC decided to implement these rules and also classify broadband internet service providers as common carriers under Title II of the Communications Act of 1934 and Section 706 of the Telecommunications Act of 1996. This makes the internet a public utility. As a public utility, the government can now regulate it. If you're interested, you can see copies of the letters President Obama wrote on net neutrality in the links below. This brings us to the Trump administration. President Trump had already weighed in on net neutrality in a tweet back in 2014. He called Obama's internet regulations a power grab. In January 2017, President Trump appointed Ajit Pai as the FCC chairman. Ajit Pai made it very clear that he was against the net neutrality rules adopted by the Obama administration. In April 2017, Ajit Pai proposed to remove the government's utility-like management of broadband providers and recommended implementing ways internet service providers could make people pay for access to certain websites. Soon after, the FCC voted to repeal Obama-era net neutrality rules. This means internet service providers will be able to block customers from certain websites and apps. They can slow down internet speeds based on the nature of your content, or even create fast lanes for people that pay a premium and slow down people that can't. In Ajit Pai's speech at the Newseum, he stated that the more you regulate something, the less of it you're likely to get. I disagree completely. When you look at the net neutrality rules established by the Obama administration, you can see that they're designed to protect the consumer. The rules prevent the service providers from limiting the service you can get. Later in his Newseum speech, he argued that prior to the Obama-era rules, service providers had not engaged in any of the practices that the rules prohibit. This is an outright lie. In an interview with PBS NewsHour, William Brangham offered some examples of internet service providers blocking content. Ajit Pai conceded, saying, "These are isolated cases, but if you look at the FCC's own records, there are only scattered anecdotes to support this." He then states, "In order to justify preemptive regulation of all 4,462 internet service providers, you should have pretty concrete evidence of an overwhelming market failure." By his own mouth, Ajit Pai confirmed that there have been cases of content blocking prior to the rules initiated by the Obama administration. Furthermore, he believes regulation should only occur when there is an overwhelming market failure. Why must we wait for catastrophe before we attempt to fix the problem? Fortunately, there is one last chance to prevent the dissolution of the current net neutrality rules. Under the Congressional Review Act, Congress can review new federal regulations and overrule them. But this requires people like you and me, the customers of these internet service providers, to take a stand and contact our congressmen and congresswomen. Write a letter or start a petition. Just make your voice heard. To put it as simply as possible, if we stand by and do nothing, we are surrendering the fate of the internet to a man who is willing to wait for market failure before he does something about it.